Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Mandy, and this is Love Sober,
the podcast for the sober and sober curious.
Hi there, welcome back to Love Sober, the podcast for the sober and sober curious. And it's Kate and I today. And we're going to talk a little bit through our experiences of going to She Recovers, which was 2 weeks ago now. But life
is longer, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah. So just to let you know before we get started, that this is the last podcast that, not last, because you never know. Last podcast anyway, for the foreseeable future that we're doing together. I have had many a shift over the last year in terms of kind of personal, professional and living and all the things. And I've decided to step back from Love Sober as of the end of, what are we, May 2022, depending on where you are when you're listening to this. Just to sort of let you know that that the podcast and Kate's brilliant work at Love Sober will continue. I think you're going to take a little break, aren't you, just to have a rest and then kind of come back in a few weeks time. Or the best way to kind of keep in contact is through the website www.lovesober.com and join the newsletter, and that's kind of where Kate will be able to let you know of, there's lots of things going on. There's a couple of meetups coming up in and around the UK, and brilliant work, and Kate's brilliant writing, writing blogs, and so it's been a bit of a journey for us both to get to this point and this decision. Certainly not easy to kind of step away from something that's been your passion and your love for the last kind of 4 years, but it feels like the right time for me to just kind of explore what's next for me, really. What's next? I'm still coaching, I'm still taking on clients one-to-one. I'm still going to be rambling on Instagram. Kate and I are still going to be working together in terms of providing our professional coaching training, which is with the Coaching Academy. We've got our book coming out in September. So, we're still very much friends and, supportive colleagues. But it just feels like the right time for me to step back from the Love Sober community and podcast and, those things. So I don't know if you've got anything to add before we crack on with the chat.
No, I'm all right. Thanks. I'm really tired. I'm like, we're very much in the process, but like you said, it's been a while, and I've been thinking quite a lot lately about change, and it's part of life, right? Isn't it? It's part of life, and I think it's sort of testament to like that sort of piece of personal development, professional development, to just honor those changes, because you build these things, but you're still people, like people underneath with lives, right? And I think it's fair to say, like, we've just had the most brilliant opportunities and brilliant time, and created loads of brilliant things, and had a fun time just kind of going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But it's that there are shifts, and I think when you pull back and see the big picture, it's like that tapestry thing, isn't it? So when you're in the middle of it, it's like, oh no, what's the next stitch going to be? And then it's like, when you pull back, you can see the big picture, you can see the tapestry, and you've got to just kind of go with guts and hearts and what feels right. And so that's just, I think we're both in, like, we've always talked about our feelings, haven't we? We've always talked about our feelings and how things land for us. And I think it's fair to say that it's like, it's sort of exciting for us both, and also really scary.
Yeah.
And also I'm like, where's my friend gone? Where's she gone? But you know, it's like, that's all right, because you know, you're there. I know where you live. That's not scary at all. But yeah, no, as you
understand
said,
why I'm leaving now.
No, but like as you said, that, you know, Love Sober is, we've worked really hard over the last couple of years, 4 years, to make it really robust. We've built courses, got an amazing community of women, we've got a huge body of work on the Love Sober podcast, and there is, you know, just good stuff, and it's robust, and it feels like, you know, it's in a good shape, you know. So
yeah, it almost feels like that kind of, as you say, it's kind of the shifts of our own, you know, progression as women in recovery. You know, didn't even like that word at the beginning when we started this podcast, and also in terms of the business, you know, kind of moving away from personalities more to you know, the members as a sense, and you know, and that kind of, yeah, there's letting it kind of nourish its own roots, essentially. And I think that's what we've been moving towards, and certainly in the last 6 months, you know, we were like, right, you know, how do we make it and sustainability, right? You know, the second book is all about sustainability, isn't it? Essentially. And so it's like, yeah, how do we make what we've created sustainable, you know? And you know, and also like, what do you need to be well, you know? And certainly in my own you know, recovery, the kind of what I need to be well right now is to, I was thinking about this the other day, it was just like, you know, I still need to find out who I am. I still need to, like, there's still questions about what I like and what I want and who I am. And so for me to be well, I need to be able to, yeah, be fully independent. And yeah, it's absolutely terrifying, but it's also good, and you know, and needed, you know, and I've really appreciated everyone kind of in the community and people around us just sort of going, yeah, you know, that's yeah, you know, good, and thanks for modeling what it looks like to you know, make brave choices, you know. So yeah, and I just want to say thanks to Kate, you know, thanks to you for this crazy journey we've been on, and you know, and sharing so much, you know. Kate, the Love Sober brand was Kate's baby, right? And so it feels right, you know, that like after riding along the journey together, sort of freewheeling and just, you know, seeing what
not
happens,
having a plan,
you know, yeah, it feels right to kind of just to be able for you to flourish in it, and for me to to do what see what the next steps are, you know. And so yeah, and I was going to say, can you have me on to talk about the book in September?
Yeah. We'll have to do what we like, dude.
Yeah. we'll probably have to do that, you know, because there is that's coming. But yeah, anyway, and thanks to, you know, and if you miss me, just come and say hi on Instagram, you know, Mandy Manners Coach. That's where I'll be hanging out most. Well, not most, hopefully, like doing such a much more, you know, interesting and nourishing to my soul, but you know what I mean. Probably fucking around a lot. Yeah. And please, you know, if you're not on the newsletter, keep in contact with Kate at lovesober.com, and you know, there's so many brilliant women in the community and so many brilliant sort of courses, and you know, just so incredibly proud of you know, modeling and creating, you know, ways to help women, you know, love sober. So
yeah. Oh, well done, Mad. Well done, Mad.
Thanks.
And this is, yeah, I think the other thing is So we were talking about, what the rhythm of the podcast will be, and the initial thoughts are, once a month at the moment. I need a bit of a break. But like I said, the newsletter, we have a monthly newsletter, which is a great place to keep in contact. So a monthly rhythm fits really well. Got a weekly resource that we send out as well. And then I'll know more when we've had a bit of a break, when I've had a bit of a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure to head over to sign up for the newsletter is the number one best way to stay abreast of anything going on at Love Sober. Yeah.
Sorry, I just was laughing about the word breast in there. So immature. Like, stay abreast. Okay. Anyway, so she recovers.
Yeah, she recovers, because we've had some people asking about, tell us about She Recovers, and now I'm like, I can't remember because it's before yesterday. So I can't. It was amazing. I was thinking about it though this morning. In all seriousness, I think the highlights for me, it was very special because you'd been before, hadn't you, and met up with some of those, the Sober Sisters stateside and the She Recovers lot, and I hadn't. So meeting Dawn, meeting Taryn, meeting Leanna, who I just love so much. I just feel like I know Leanna like from somewhere else. And then just seeing people like we've had on the pod, like Casey Maguire Davidson, who does Hello Someday, meeting people who are the same, like when you meet them. And I was like, I know you, we've chatted. And Arlena Allen, who does ODAT chat, who makes me laugh so much. Dufflin, obviously. I mean, me and Dufflin, literally, I think we were born in a kind of, oh my God, I was going to say we're like twins from a sparkly womb.
I was going to say, I was going from a gay platform shoe. That's where my brain was going.
That's where we came from. It's literally, it's so true. If like a bubble machine came out of a really big gay sparkly shoe, me and Dufflin appeared, and we're so happy. We never wanted to leave that shoe. No. And whenever we see each other, we're like, we're so back in that shoe. Yeah. So what about you? What's your kind of your memories of She Recovers?
Oh man, yeah, a lot. Lots of different feelings, lots of different kind of moments, reflective moments. I always have loved doing yoga with Taryn. So as I don't have like a steady yoga practice at the moment, I was really looking forward to actually just trusting someone to run a good session that is trauma informed, and so I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed seeing you on the dance floor, at both the dance and the silent disco.
And the disco.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that dancing.
Yeah, you definitely were having the best time. We shared with my friend Jill, so we shared a room with my friend Jill, so that was really special just to hang out with her.
Hilarious.
She's a good
honestly
girl.
I laugh. She told us a story, which obviously is not my story to tell, so I won't go into it, but I'd met her for about 10 minutes, hadn't I? And we went out for some food into downtown Miami. We were like, okay. And within 10 minutes of her sort of telling me quite a bit of personal family history, I was crying with laughter so much. I just couldn't, I just lost my shit basically. I was like, literally. So that was it. It was like one of those, like, okay, that we're friends now. That's it.
Yeah, we know we see each other now. So that was, it was really nice to hang out with her and have some just sort of quality time and swim in the pool. And in terms of the speakers, like, there were amazing people. There was Ashley Judd, who spoke very eloquently about women's rights and recovery and kind of generational trauma. Sadly her mum died like a week after the conference, so she talked extensively about her kind of mother-daughter relationship, so feels quite I think that touched us all really that were there. We're like, wow, we held that conversation, and but there was a couple of people. There was Shari Hampton, who I've always been obsessed with, who is an amazing kind of speaker. She should I keep telling her she should do meditation because she's got an amazing voice, and she spoke about kind of racism being trauma, and told stories of her own kind of family, which I found really touching. Jen Pastiloff I really liked. I didn't know anything about her, and I thought she was hilarious and really good. But the person, I'm just trying to remember her name now, which was on the Sunday. Anyway, it will come back to me. What about you for the speakers or any of
speakers? I really loved, as you know, that the symposium for healing professionals, because I found it hugely validating of our work and my journey. Questioning, going back through the last few years of questioning all the labels, all the stereotypes, wanting to change the language, saying, hang on, there's a spectrum here. Like, no, I don't like that label. What about this? And then all the holistic pathways to recovery. And sometimes, because I am a woman, because I come from a certain, I think, social class and educational, I did go to uni, but there's that part of me that feels that imposter syndrome, I think, and it took a woman double doctorate from Betty Ford Hazelden leading these kind of conversations and research to repeat it back to me, like the stuff that we've been saying. Hearing that back, I was like, oh right, I literally don't have to kind of fight. I don't have to be like, put them up. I got to kind of shout about this or go no. It's like, actually it made me feel heard and seen and sort of validated. So it was like, this, like, I don't really have to prove this. This is just the thing now. So that was amazing. The other person that I really, really loved was, I loved the fact that there was Dr. Princess there. Because I'm like, that just says it all to me. That's like, we've arrived. We have Dr. Princess. That's done, right? And she was amazing and really articulate, and I appreciated that sort of, just how diverse the speakers were, and how that was honoured. It wasn't just lip service. It's like, these women are there doing amazing work. But I really loved Nadia Bolz Webber, who was she was a stand-up comedian, and then she trained as, I think it's a Lutheran pastor. It's not pasta.
Having bolognese on top.
Probably pasta. And but Nadia Bolz Webber, and she founded the Church for Sinners and Saints in Detroit, because she had a spiritual aspect to her, and a questioning and a searching. Couldn't find any churches that reflected her or anyone that she wanted to hang out with, so she basically trained and founded this incredibly diverse, loving, kind of deep. I just loved the humanity with which she talked. It was like, you can talk about this, all of this stuff, but she just got up and was like, man, just, I don't know, we're just all right. We're like humans. We're just, there was no pomp, there was no circumstance, there was nothing that was bullshitty about her. There was just this beautiful space holding from this person who felt like she'd been down in the grub and the shit of life, and was just this wise person, but was just like, I know nothing. Like, she was like, oh, I'll do a Q&O at the end. It's like, I haven't got any answers. I call it questions and opinions, because I've got loads of opinions, but I haven't got any answers for you. And it's like, you're so wise, but I love you. Yeah.
She was amazing. There was a way that she held herself and kind of comic timing, and her like jumping up and down to like Eminem at the silent disco as well, which was one of my best moments. That she was there for everything. Like she did all of everything, which was amazing.
And asked questions and
I can't remember exactly what she said, but there was something right at the beginning that she said that was something like, you know, when you throw shame at yourself or you think you can't do something, it's just like, I am new at this part of me. What was that she said? Something like that.
Yeah.
It was like, I'll have to find out the diet, but it's just like it's okay. Like I'm just new at this part of me.
This part. You know?
Yeah, she was great. And what was I going to say about her? The person that I really, really liked was Elaine Alec, who is a speaker. She is a Canadian, Indigenous Canadian woman, and she told stories about, she was just so wise, and it made me very, very emotional because I don't know, like Indigenous populations have just been so kind of abused and, you know, decimated, and just, you know, the wisdom of kind of people that have come from the land, you know, and people that have, with all that, the wisdom, and, you know, and it just opened up spirituality in a different way for me, because it was something that I could connect to in terms of like going back to the water, you know, sort of sitting by the lake or by the sea, or, you know, touching your feet in the ground. And she used a lot of metaphors around, you know, animals. And I just thought she was a brilliant speaker, and she talked a lot about shame, which made a lot of sense. And I think she does something called Cultivating Safe Spaces, and it's all around trauma and just decolonization of spaces which have not been safe for many people for a long time. So she kind of, I totally fangirled out. She totally blew my mind. That was so I loved that. And just, you know, like there were 500 women, sober women, in, you know, a luxury hotel. Just loved it. Kate and I, we did some celebrating, and, you know, and also just holding each other. I mean, I burst into tears on the first morning doing yoga, and so it was just like the people around me were just like, we're just going to sit here for a moment. I'll just shout out to Debbie, who's an amazing woman, and like she's also a therapist, so it's like a good place for me to fall apart, because you know, and that, I could see that all over. You know, there was a woman when we were at the dance who, you know, just something, I think it was in the music and the lyrics, I could just see her. I was watching her out the corner of my eye, and I just saw that all the emotion just come like to the surface, and she started crying, and I just sort of went over. I was like, do you need a hug? And just gave her a hug. And that's just like such a nice expression of humanity, just to be like, oh, I see you, you know what's going on. We should also mention Shane Booth Gate, which I have to apologize for my blatant cheating, but in all fairness, I didn't realize that I was cheating.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't. I really didn't. I am a rule follower. So basically, if you don't know Shane Booth, we interviewed Paula a long time ago, but Paula is an amazing kind of creative artist who does a lot of work around shame. And so she has these big girl pants, which she gives out. So typical us, isn't it? Just like throw ourselves in there. But basically she was like, right, we're going to do a relay race in the swimming pool. Like everyone put on these pants, these big pants.
You had to wear 2 pairs of pants. The person who went first had to wear 2 pairs. And then you had to jump in on one of those long bungee things, those squeegee things.
Well, they call them like fries or something, don't they? Like when you're learning to swim, those foam.
Yeah, foam long things.
Yeah.
And then, but this is where you were not right. You were supposed to just use your arms.
Yeah.
And not your legs. And then had to kind of swim to the other side. And then you had to take off the one pair of pants and give it to the next member of your team who's waiting on the other side. You had then to put on the pair of pants and come back the other way. And then that was swapping the pairs of pants.
So so there was like four different teams. And for some reason, like I had like 3 pairs of pants on, so all my pants got rolled up. But in my head, I processed the information. It was like, you're not allowed to use your legs. So I processed that. I was like, you're not allowed to walk, like you're not allowed to put your feet down. So there I was like, why aren't people swimming? Front crawled it. I don't think I swam that well before in my whole life. Everyone was like, you swam so fast. I felt like a bullet, but blatantly cheating. But then like could not get out the water, and then had like 3 pairs of pants on. So we didn't win, but we shouldn't have won anyway. But
so just basically, Mandy, despite you cheating, we still didn't win.
No.
So I wonder why you ended up with all those pairs of pants though.
I don't know. I think I thought that you had to have 2 pairs of pants and then you had to like give a pair of pants or something. I basically just took everything really literally, but not in like the right way.
Not correctly.
Probably what happened.
That was probably my favorite. That and the dancing and the yoga, anything that involved movement, basically. Was definitely the kind of high joy spots.
Yeah, we ate some good food as well.
We did.
That burger on the last day on South Beach was pretty.
That was lush. Amazing.
Yeah.
And I had to put myself to bed for one day because I had extreme sensory overload, and that was an eye-opener for me. But I was able to kind of settle and bring myself down, but I literally had to do a lockdown. I had to do an intervention on myself. That was that 3rd day, stay in bed all day, because I'd just basically done shame pants, dancing, double dancing, and it was interesting because I even had the noise reducing headphones on at dinner. It was like I was like proper, it was a lot. I mean, it was always going to be a lot because of my HSP and introversion. That was always going to be big. And it was interesting for me, and it sort of like, there was something about being in that space as well, out of normal life, which was validating. It was like, actually, I really do have significant sensory needs and introversion. I just do. And it was like, in your life you find get rounds, and I'm like, really, am I just a bit of drama about it? So actually, no, I really do. So again, it was affirming, and it was right.
You were very, very red that Saturday night. I wonder whether there was something there as well. You were like,
I'd got too red.
Beetroot red, your face, like it was like I was a little bit.
I could have.
I don't know, but I was. A couple of people said
worried
to me,
about me.
Yeah, a couple of people said to me, she was very red. Her face was very red. I was like, yeah, she was very red. It was like a little beetroot. So I don't know if that impacted on your nervous system. It was just like,
for sure,
just shocked it all up. Well, that's what you were waiting for, that, weren't you? You put that on.
You see, that was the high moment where it was right at the end. Ain't nobody, and basically it was right at the end, so lots of people had left and it started raining. And it's like, let it rain, let it rain on me, like that. So beautiful. That's a proper like ecstasy moment. Not in
natural high. I know, I couldn't get sleep for hours. I was like proper adrenaline after that. So it was very fun and very informative and very nice, but very tiring at the same time. And I do hope they come to Europe, because that jet lag ruined me on the way there and on the way back.
Yeah. And then I got ill. I got really poorly for about 10 days. So that wasn't fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm
basically having to recover.
Yeah.
I'm basically in recovery from the She Recovers Miami and all the things.
Yeah.
No, it was beautiful, and one of those things I'll remember for the rest of my life, basically. It's amazing. Feel lucky to have gone. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it, isn't it? What's your tip of the day and your reason to love sober?
Tip of the day. Well, I think it might be, it's a few things, as it always is with me, and I'll ramble until I get to the point. But I went to my usual walk. My daughter rides on a Tuesday after school, and there's a little walk that I do with the dog, and it's become really important to me. It's like I go out and I process, and I walk up this path, and it really is like a stick in the sand every week, and I've really missed it because I was away, and then I was jet lagged, and then I was poorly, so I hadn't been for 3 weeks, and I go, and then nature had completely changed. It's like all the colours had changed. It's attractive. There's just different things. And I was just processing, and I go and I cry, I walk, and I sat down and I just did some writing on this path, and I was thinking about higher power. I don't know why. I think it's because I was out in nature, and I was thinking about how I still hate that language. Like I hate it. I hate the word higher. What the fuck is that? And I hate the fact there's a higher power. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I mean, it can all just fuck off as far as I'm concerned. Now, nature, the expanse, the being in something bigger, like, so I was like, okay, what, just changing the words again, so back to language. And I was like, what if I change this to deeper love? What if I change this to greater love? What if I just change this to, and I looked down, and I think I posted something on Instagram. I looked down, and there was a heart-shaped leaf in front of me on the path, and I was like, this is all right. So I was just like, here I am. So there's something about, don't try and fit yourself into boxes that don't fit. Don't work so hard to make these rules fit for you. It's like change the language, cherry pick, follow your heart, your gut, what works for you, because that's what it is, and that's it really. It's just like, just
amen to that.
What about you? What's your tip of the day?
It's interesting, isn't it, when the idea of having anchors, which is something we've talked about before in terms of ventral vagal anchors being places of connection and safety. So it's like either can be physical places or places you can take yourself to, yourself in your mind when you feel a lot and you need to kind of regulate. And when I was, I went back to Stroud, I went back to Gloucestershire at the weekend. So like there's been a lot of, stuff, a lot of feelings around that, around, obviously the changes that I've made. There's been a lot of feelings of fear. And I went and sat there's a bench on the top of Robber Common, where I've basically done a lot of my growing up. Like I used to sit there and smoke weed. I used to, snog boys, cry, like get away from my parents, like all the things. And it was like a real need, to just like go and sit there. So I went and sat there. I listened to Shari. I imagined my mate Jamie, who died, who I used to sit on that bench with and have chats. was there, and just and it has the most amazing view across to Wales, basically. Like the whole of the kind of Five Valleys opens down all the way to kind of miles and miles and miles and miles. And I just I sat in that moment, listened to the whole song, and allowed myself to feel it, had a bit of a cry, and then was like, okay, I can kind of cope. And just so like then for everyone, sometimes it's not in your own home, but it might be in your garden. There's another one in my garden, like outside the kitchen where I sit, and just like find those little places where you can just like drop into yourself, and use your tools, whatever they may be, music, sensory, writing, as Kate was saying, because it just helps. It can really just help just to have, just allow yourself to have that. So that's my tip of the day.
I love it. Yeah, those anchors, so true. And I remember us talking about the metaphor of the anchor, or the image of the anchor a while ago, and I can't remember. I don't know. It was around a word of the year at one point, I'm sure. Yeah. And what's your reason to love sober?
Ah, man. I don't know, just feeling proud of everything we've achieved, and that I've been sober, really. I've been sober to be able to contribute and will continue to contribute, and that feels pretty good. I don't have much more to say, really. And you?
My reason to love sober, I think it's just the onward journey and the possibility, and that, again, like I was doing some writing, and it was like expanding into the not knowing rather than contracting into it, and feeling, just that's where the gold is, right? It's just quite frankly, it's a grand adventure. And it's been a blast, dude. And it will continue to be a grand adventure, like wherever it looks like, So I think that's it, really.
All right.
So we're going to wrap up, and I really wanted to honour that, because we talked about, I should put a podcast out next week. I've got some guests coming on, but for me, I really want to just take a moment to honour Mandy and all the amazing work she does. And the podcast was her idea. She invited me to do it, and it's just been so important in my sobriety, my recovery, and to just have our chats and our friendship throughout these week in, week out, so that we won't be seeing you next week for more chat. There'll be a little sacred pause, because I really want to honor Mandy and just process a little bit, but keep in touch in the newsletter, and be back soon. Lots of love, everyone.
Bye, guys.